57goldradio.com, Gary Cubetta back again, and it's my pleasure to introduce the author of A Colossal Failure of Common Sense, the inside story of the collapse of Lehman Brothers, Larry Lawrence McDonald. Larry or Lawrence?
Larry's fine.
Okay, Larry's fine. Larry, pleasure to have you with us.
Thanks, Gary. Great to be here.
I heard you last Sunday. I like to listen to Bob Brinker on the weekends. I think he's got a very good program, and you came on, and my ears perked right up because the Lehman Brothers situation has been a fascination to me for about the last year and a half, 2 years or so. You worked with Lehman Brothers. What exactly was your role with the company?
Well, I traded distressed bonds. So I traded corporate bonds of companies that are in trouble, companies like Delta Airlines at the time, Northwest Airlines, companies that were struggling. I traded their bonds.
Now, Larry, I remember I graduated from college in the 80s, and I was considering going to work for Merrill Lynch, which would be similar to a corporation like Lehman or Goldman Sachs. And back then, the company really was stockbrokers. You'd go to work and you'd do cold calls and you'd get people to buy stocks. And the commissions, of course, were much higher than they became later on with the E-Trades and the Schwabs. I hear about Lehman all the time. I wonder, is that the kind of company, are those the type of transactions that are still done today, or have things evolved over time?
Well, that's what makes this book, A Colossal Failure of Common Sense, such a treat, because it brings the reader inside of the investment bank. And when you go inside of Lehman Brothers, when you get under the hood, you'll see that it wasn't like a Merrill Lynch. We didn't have any stockbrokers. We didn't have a sales force. It was essentially an investment bank that traded securities, bonds, stocks, real estate loans, and things like that. We traded a lot of securities with institutional investors. So we would trade. We traded a lot of bonds with Fidelity, T. Rowe Price, and alike.
Now, the fall of 2008, the banking industry gets in major trouble, and the only major institution that was allowed to fail from Washington was Lehman, correct?
That's right.
Major institution. Now, there's been a lot of controversy. People have said that because Hank Paulson was the CEO and made a fortune with Goldman Sachs and Lehman was a major competitor, that by design Lehman was allowed to fail since Paulson had the final real say on it. Do you believe that Paulson wanted Lehman to go down?
Well, if you take one thing from this interview, remember these words. I mean,